ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is video number 5 on Swami Ramsukhdasji Maharaj's Sadhana Sanjivani, Sadhak Sanjivani. This video starts with verse number 11 of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. एनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागं वस्थिता भीषमेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तु सर्व एव हि. Now all of you stationed in your respective positions on all fronts guard Bhishma in particular all sides. अयानेषु च सर्वेषु यत् भगवन् स्थितः भीषमभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्वा एव हि. All of you warriors stationed in your respective position on different fronts should guard Bhishma on all sides. By saying the above words, Duryodhana wants to please Bhishma so that he may be partial to his army. Secondly, he gives instruction to the warriors of his army to see that Shikhandi should not face Bhishma. If Shikhandi comes in front of Bhishma, the latter will not use his arms and weapons against him because he was a woman in the previous birth. In that birth also, first he was a woman and later he changed into a man. So Bhishma, by regarding him as a woman, has promised not to fight with Shikhandi. Shikhandi had taken birth by Lord Shiva's boon to kill Bhishma. Therefore, if Bhishma is protected from Shikhandi, he will kill all other warriors of the army of Pandavas and their victory is certain. Therefore, Duryodhana gives instruction to all the great chariot warriors of his army to guard Bhishma. Finding Duryodhana disgraced by getting no hopeful response from Dronacharya, Bhishma, in order to express his affection for him, cheers him up. This is expressed by Sanjay in the next verse. Verse number 12. Tasya sajjaneya harshah kuruvirdah pitamah singanadam Vinudocai Shankha Dadamo Pratapavan. The grand old men of the Kaurava race, their glorious grand uncle Bhishma, cheering Duryodhana, roared loudly like a lion and blew his conch. Tasya Sanjanaya Harsham. Here it should have been said that Bhishma blew his conch and it cheered Duryodhana, but it is said that Bhishma cheering up Duryodhana blew his conch. Sanjaya wants to state that the very action of blowing the conch will certainly cheer up Duryodhana. To express this influence of Bhishma, Sanjaya uses the adjective Pratapavan, glorious. Kruvardhanaha. Though in the Kuru race Bahelika, the younger brother of Bhisma's father Santanu, was older than Bhisma, yet Bhisma possessed better knowledge of righteousness and God than all other old members in the race. So Sanjaya called him Kuruvardha, the Kuruvardha, the grand old man of the Kauravas race. Pratap Pratapwan. Bhishma was well known for his renunciation of wealth and women, that is, he did not accept any kingdom nor did he marry. He was well versed in military science and scripture, so the warrior class were very much influenced by him. When Bhishma, for his brother Vichitravirya, kidnapped all by himself the daughters of the king of Kasi from the place where their suitors had assembled to marry them, the Kshatriya suitors attacked him, but he alone defeated all of them. He was so well versed in the science of weapons and warfare that he did not accept his defeat even against his preceptor Parshurama, who had taught him the science of weapons, etc. Thus he had great influence over the Kshatriyas, warrior class, because of his skill in military science. When Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows, Lord Krishna said to Yudhishthira, if you want to put any question on righteousness, Dharma, ask him now, because the son of the knowledge of scriptures is going to set, that is, Bhishma, a great scholar of scriptures, is going to die. Thus we see that he had great mastery over the scriptures and others were very much influenced by this knowledge. Pitamaha. This word seems to mean that Dronacharya did not attach any importance to the tricks played by Duryodhana. He understood that Duryodhana wanted to deceive him, so he remained silent. But Bhishma is the grand uncle of Duryodhana, so he sees Duryodhana's childlike behavior in his tricks. Hence Bhishma, unlike Dronacharya, breaks his silence and blows his conch to cheer up Duryodhana and show his affection for him. Singhanadam Vinayadocchaha Sankha Dadham. When a lion roars ferociously, even large wild animals like elephants, etc., get horror struck. Similarly, by roaring ferociously, Bhishma blew his conch to cheer up Duryodhana and terrorize the warriors of the hostile army. Appendix. Duryodhana's relationship with Dronacharya was that of pupil-teacher, while with Bhishma he had the family relationship. Where there is the pupil-teacher relationship, there is no partiality, but in family relationship, because of the affection for the family, partiality ensues. Therefore, having heard the tricky words uttered by Duryodhana, Dronacharya remained quiet, which disgraced Duryodhana, but because of family affection, having seen Duryodhana, said Bhishma below the conch in order to encourage Duryodhana. In the verse that follows, Sanjay narrates the effect of sounding the conch by Bhishma. Verse number 13. Tatah sankhascha bhairyascha panvan khagomukha सहसैवाभ्यन्यन्त स sabadetavu mulo bhavatah. Then conches, cattle drums, tabards, drums, and cow horns suddenly blared forth, and the noise was tumultuous. Tataha sankhascha bhairyascha Panavanka Gomukhyah. Bhishma had not blown his conch to declare war. His purpose was to cheer up Duryodhana, but the army of the Kauravas thought that the war was declared. So, hearing the sound of the conch, all musical instruments such as conch, etc., of the Kaurava army suddenly blared forth. Conches are found in the sea. These are blown in adoration of God on auspicious occasions and for declaring a war. Cattle drums, bheri are drums with large hollow bowls of iron with tops made of skins of buffaloes and are beaten with a wooden stick. They are kept in temples and forts and are beaten specially on functions and auspicious occasions. Tabards, Panava are small drums like a tambourine. These are made of iron or wood with the tops covered by the skin of goats and are beaten with hand or a wooden stick. Their beating is regarded as auspicious as adoration of Lord Ganesha. Anaka drum is a musical instrument made of clay with the top covered by leather and beaten with a hand. Gomukha cow horn is a musical wind instrument consisting of a long metal tube, usually bent like a serpent, having a cow-shaped mouth and is blown with the mouth. Sahaseva Bhyanayanta. Kaurva army was full of great enthusiasm. Therefore, as soon as Bhishma blew his conch, all their musical instruments suddenly blared forth all at once without much effort. Sa sabda tambulo bhavate. The sound of the musical instruments such as conch etc. of the Kaurva army standing in divisions and subdivisions was tumultuous and was echoed all over. In the beginning of this chapter, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay, "What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do while assembled on the battlefield?" Therefore, Sanjay explained from the second to the 13th verses what Dhritarashtra's sons did. In the next verse, Sanjay says what Pandu's sons did. वर्ष नंबर 14 ततः सवेत हय्य युक्ते महति सैन्दने स्थितो माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यो शंखो पर्दवधूतु. Then seated in a glorious chariot drawn by white horses, Sri Krishna as well as Arjuna blew their divine conches. Tatah Saveta Harhe Yukti. The Gandharva, a celestial musician named Chitrartha, gave Arjuna 100 divine horses. It was ordained that they would always remain 100 in number, even though many of them were killed on the battlefield. They could go to heaven or live on the earth. Out of these 100 horses, 4 beautiful and well-trained horses were harnessed to Arjuna's chariot. Mahati Shandane Shittu. The fire god Agni suffered from indigestion because a lot of ghee clarified butter was offered in a holy sacrifice to him. Therefore, though the fire god wanted to cure his indigestion by consuming medicinal herbs of the Khandwa forest, but he was unable to do it because it was protected by other gods. Whenever he tried to burn it, Indra, the king of the gods, extinguished the fire with the rain. At last, with Arjuna's help, Agni cured his indigestion by burning the whole forest, and being pleased with Arjuna, Agni gave him a very large and glorious chariot, as many weapons and missiles as could be accommodated in 9 bullock carts were held in it. It was gilded and glorious, its wheels were strong and huge, its flag shone like lightning over about a yojana, 8 miles in distance. In spite of being so long, it was neither heavy nor could it stop or be en- entangled in trees, etc. Hanuman, the monkey god who acted as a spy in Rama's march against Ravana, was the emblem on the flag. Sithitau. Sithitau means that the beautiful and glorious chariot became more so because Lord Krishna himself and his dear devotee Arjuna were sitting in it. Madhva Pandavascha. Ma is Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, and Dhava is the husband or owner. Therefore, Madhva means the Lord of Lakshmi, Sri Krishna, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Here, Pandava has been used for Arjuna because he is the chief among the Pandavas. Pandavanaha Dhananjaya. Lord Krishna says, among the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya, Arjuna. He has been called chief among the Pandavas because he had no individuality apart from Lord Krishna. Arjuna and Sri Krishna were the incarnations of Nara and Narayana respectively. In the beginning of every Parva section of Mahabharata, there is a salutation to Nara, Arjuna, and Narayana, Lord Krishna. Thus, from this point of view, also, Lord Krishna and Arjuna both were chiefs. Sanjaya also says in the last verse of the Gita, wherever there is Sri Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, and wherever is Arjuna, the wielder of bow, Kandiva bow, there are prosperity, victory, glory, and righteousness. This is my conviction. Divyau Sankau Pardamanahtava. Lord Krishna and Arjuna loudly blew their conches, which were glorious and divine. Here it may be stated that it was proper on the part of Bhishma to blow his conch first because he was the field marshal of the Kaurava army. But how far was it justified on the part of Lord Krishna, the chariot driver of the Pandava army, to blow the conch when the field marshal Drishtadyumna of the Pandava army was there? The answer is that Lord Krishna is ever chief, whether he works as a chariot driver or a great chariot warrior. He is ever great, whatever the rank he may hold, because his rank is achutta, fixed. He never deviates from his divine nature. In Pandava army, Lord Krishna was the chief and director. Even when he was a boy, Nanda and Upananda, etc., obeyed him. Therefore, they, by obeying him, started to worship Govardhana, a mountain, instead of Indra, the king of gods, who had been worshipped for generations. It means that the Lord, in whatever state, place, and circumstance he may live, is ever the chief. Therefore, Lord Krishna was the first in the Pandava army to blow his conch. One who is really inferior regards himself as superior after getting an appointment to a high post. On the contrary, who is really superior is superior everywhere, and he elevates the post at which he works. Thus, Lord Krishna, while working as a chariot driver, elevated that post. Sanjay in the next four verses in explaining the previous verse and giving some more details describes the blowing of conch by other warriors. Verse number 15. पांचजन्य हृषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जय पौंड्रम ददमो महाशंखं भीमकर्ता वरकोदरा. Harishkesha Sri Krishna below his conch named Panchajanya. Dhananjaya Arjun his conch called Devadatta while Varkodara Bhima of terrific deeds below his mighty conch the Pondra. Panch Panchajanyam Harishkesha. Harishkesha means the master of mind and senses. Lord Krishna, who pervades the mind and intellect of all, who is acquainted with the hearts of all the people, arranged on the side of the Pandavas below his conch named Panchajanya. Lord Krishna, having killed a demon named Panchajanya, who appeared in the form of a conch, used him as a conch, so his conch was named as Panchajanya. Devadattam Dhananjayaha. The word Dhananjaya means conqueror of wealth. At the time of the holy sacrifice named Rajasuya, Arjuna took over wealth of many rulers on gaining victory over them. So Arjuna was called Dhananjaya. Indra, the king of gods, gave Arjuna the conch named Devadatta while he was fighting with demons named Nivata Kvacha. Nivatakvacha, etc. It produced such a loud and horrifying sound that the army of the enemies became terror struck. This conch was flown by Arjuna. Pondram Dadman Mahasankhayam Bhima Karmai Varkodraha. Bhima was named Bhima Bhima Karma, doer of tremendous deeds, because he killed demons such as Hidimma, Bhaka, and Jata, etc., and valiant warriors such as Kichka and Jarasandha, etc. In his belly, beside the heat which helps to digest food, there was a special fire named Virka, which digested a lot of food very easily. It was because of his great digestive power that he was named Varkodra. Thus, Bhima, who was the doer of terrific deeds and possessed strong digestive power, blew his mighty conch Pondra. Verse number 16. अनंत विजयम राजा कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः नकुलः सहदेवश्च सुघोषमणि पुष्कौ. King Yudhishthira, son of Kunti, blew his conch Amant Vijay, while Nakula and Sahadeva blew their conches, the Sughosha and Mani Puruspaka, respectively. Anantah Vijay Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira Nakulah Sahadevascha Sughosha Mani Puskau. Arjuna, Bhima, and Yudhishthira, the three were Kunti's sons, while Nakula and Sahadeva were Madari's sons. So the adjective Kunti Putra, Kunti's sons, has been used for Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira has been called a king because he was the ruler of half of the Indraprastha kingdom before exile, and according to promise and the law, he should have been a king after living in exile for 12 years and 1 year incognito residence. Moreover, by calling him a king, Sanjay wanted to hint that he would be the king of the entire territory afterwards. Stanza number 17. काश्यश्च परमेशवास शिखंडी च महारथ धृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकिश्च पराजितः। Verse 18 Drupada Draupadiyascha Sarvasya Prithvipte Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Sanghadagdhu Prathkaya Prathkaya. The king of Kasi, the excellent archer, and Shikhandi, the great chariot warrior, Drishtadumna and Virata, and the invincible Satyaki king Drupada, as well as the five sons of Draupadi and the mighty armed Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra, all of them blew their respective conches. The great chariot warrior Shikhandi was very brave. He in his previous birth was a woman, the daughter named Amba of the king of Kasi, and in this birth also was born as a daughter to King Drupada. Afterwards, she became a man by getting manhood from a Jani named Sathunakarna. Bhishma knew all this, and therefore he regarded him as a woman and did not shoot arrows at him. Arjuna, while fighting, kept Shikhandi ahead, shot arrows at Bhishma, and overthrew him from the chariot. Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was very brave in warfare. He killed many warriors by entering the array of soldiers stationed in the form of a circle formed by Drona. At last, six great chariot warriors of the army of Kauravas surrounded him by foul means, attacked him with weapons and missiles. He was killed when Dusasana's son hit him on the head with a mace. Sanjaya mentioned only one warrior named Bhishma who blew his guns from the Kaurava army, while he mentioned 18 warriors such as Lord Krishna, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. from the Pandava army. It seems that Sanjay did not want to describe the unrighteous side of the Kaurava army in detail, but he had a great regard for Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, and the Pandava army because of their righteousness. So he thought it proper to describe the warriors of Pandava army in more detail, and he took delight in describing them. In the next verse is described the effect of sound of the conches on the Kaurava army. Stanza number 19. Se घोषो धार्तराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि वेदार्यतः नभश्च पृथ्वीं च वि तुमुलो व्यनुनादयन्. The terrible din echoing through the sky and the earth rent the hearts of the Dhritarashtra's sons who had usurped the kingdom by unjust means. Sa घोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्याद्रियानि नाभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव tumulo vyamanadayam. The sounds of the conch of the Pandavas' army was so tumultuous, roaring and horrifying that it echoed through the sky and the earth and rent the hearts of the Kauravas who had usurped the empire and also of the kings who had come to fight on their side. It means that as a weapon or a missile rends the heart and causes its pain, so does the sound of these conches. That sound disgraced the Kaurava army, and its warriors were horror struck at the formidable strength of the Pandava army. Sanjay was relating the incidents to Dhritarashtra, so it seems that it was not proper on his part to mention Dhritarashtranam, Dhritarashtra's sons, he should have mentioned Tavakinnam, his sons and relatives, which would have been polite, but he used the word correctly because it was justified on his part to use it, as he meant to say that his sons usurped the kingdom. Their hearts were rent because they were unrighteous. Therefore, the use of the word is justified further. Here a question may arise why there was no effect of the sound of the war instruments such as conch etc. of the 11 Akshauhani army. In an Akshauhani army there are 1,93,50 foot soldiers, 65,610 horses, 21,870 chariots, and 21,870 elephants of the Kauravas on the Pandavas army, but the sound of the conches of 7 Akshauhani army of the Pandavas rent the hearts of the Kaurava army. The answer is that the hearts of those who are righteous and just are impregnable. Pandavas had ruled over the empire with justice and righteousness before their exile and also demanded their empire from the Kauravas, which was a just demand. On the other hand, the hearts of those who are unrighteous, unjust, and sinful are weak, doubtful, and full of fear. It is their sin or injustice which weakens their hearts. Duryodhana and his groups tried their best to kill Pandavas by any means, fair or foul. They usurped their empire and caused them much trouble. Thus they stood for unrighteousness. So the sound of the conches of 7 Akshauhani army of the Pandavas rent their hearts with a piercing pain. This incident warns a striver that he should never have unjust and unrighteous dealings through his body, speed, and mind, because these weakens the heart and create fear in it. For example, the creatures of the world, including the gods and the demons, were afraid of Ramana, the king of Lanka, but when he abducted Sita, he, being terrified, looked here and there to see if anyone was watching him. In the first verse, Dhritarashtra put a question about his sons and sons of Pandu. Sanjaya answered the question from the second to the 19th verse. Now Sanjay starts. Army. When the Pandavas were exiled, Duryodhana adopted the policy of Yudhishthira, as Yudhishthira ruled over the subjects with justice and righteousness to give them comfort, thinking it his duty. Duryodhana also did the same to establish his influence over them. It was because of his good behavior towards the people for 13 years that the army which lacked the Pandavas came over to his side. Thus he could win the confidence of 9 Akshauhani army because of his good behavior. Lord Krishna gave him 1 Akshauhani army. Moreover, he tricked 1 Akshauhani army of King Shalya of Madra to his side, which had been on the side of the Pandavas. Therefore, on the side of the Kauravas there was an army 11 Akshauhani in number, while on the Pandava side it was 7 Akshauhani. The dialogue of the next verse between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, which is known as Bhagavad Gita. Stanza number 20. अथ व्यवस्थांतर दृष्टारान कपिध्वजः प्रवर्ति शस्त्र संपाते धनुर्धम पांडवः ऋषिकेशम तदा वाक्यमिदा महीपते. Now, O Lord of the earth, seeing Dhritarashtra's son arrayed against him and the fighting about to commence with missiles. Pandavas Arjuna, whose ensign bears the Hanuman lifting his bow, spoke the following words to Krishna. Atha, this word means that now Sanjay begins the Bhagavad Gita in the form of a dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. This dialogue ends with the word iti, used in the 74th verse of the 18th chapter. Similarly, the Gospel of the Gita begins with the 11th verse of the 2nd chapter and ends with the 66th verse of the 18th chapter. Parvarte Shastra Sampatti. Though Bhishma had blown his conch to cheer up Duryodhana not to declare war, yet the Kaurava and Pandava armies thought that the war had been declared, and so they became ready with weapons and missiles in their hands. Seeing them equipped with weapons and missiles, Arjuna also lifted his bow named Gandiva. By these words, Sanjay means, when your son Duryodhana saw the army of Pandavas, he fled to Dronacharya. But when Arjuna saw the army of Kauravas, he lifted his bow. Dhanur Uddamaya took his bow. It shows that Duryodhana was filled with fear, while Arjuna was fearless, courageous, and vigilant. Kapil Dhavja. By using this epithet, Kapil Dhavja, Sanjay wants to remind the Dhritarashtra of Hanuman sitting on the banner of Arjuna's chariot. When Pandavas used to live in the forest, one day suddenly the wind dropped a divine lotus having 1,000 leaves before Draupadi. She was very much pleased to see it, and she said to Bhima, "O excellent among the brave, bring me several lotuses of this kind." Bhima started to satisfy her desire. When he reached the Kadali forest, he happened to meet Hanuman. Both of them talked about many things. At last, Hanuman desired to grant him a boon. Bhima said, "May your kindness continue to be with me." Hanuman said, "O son of wind god, when uneasy by being injured with arrows and weapons, enter the army of the enemy and make a rover. I will enhance that rover by adding my own power to it. Moreover, by sitting on the banner of Arjuna's chariot, I will make such a rover that it will be deadly terrifying to your enemy, and you will gain a victory over them and kill them very easily." Therefore, the victory of those on whose banner Hanuman was sitting was certain. Pandavaha. Dhritarashtra used the word Pandavaha in his question. Therefore, Sanjay also used the word Pandavaha several times, as in 1 by 14 and hence 120, to remind Dhritarashtra of the Pandavas. Hriskesah tada vikaminaha Mahipate. Duryodhana, seeing the army of Pandavas approaching his preceptor Drona, spoke the words cleverly, while Arjuna, seeing the army of Kauravas approaching Lord Krishna, who is a world teacher, who is acquainted with the hearts of all, and who is the inspirer of minds and intellect, etc., spoke the words full of bravery, courage, and duty. So I complete this video here. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Namaskar my dear friend. Thank you.